Legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, making a solid run at 70 degrees, but it appears we're going to fall just shy. We drop into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures are going to consistently climb into the lower 70s. Really going to be a fantastic day. We're only going to drop into the low 50s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Maybe an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Coming up next is The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
It's a Tuesday. Gosh, it felt like we were just here. Maybe because we were on a Friday, but it's back to feeling normal. By the way, speaking of feeling normal, it is just beautiful. Dare I say,
absolutely
gorgeous.
The patio is open.
Yes, it is. The patio is indeed open, and it is gorgeous here in North Alabama. Apologies to Gary Dobbs.
Did Gary Dobbs just show up over there?
Gorgeous. I thought he was doing this Pat Dye invitation.
No. That'd be Gary Dobbs back in the day. Well, let's head up to D.C., shall we? And I'm sure by now you've probably heard this soundbite maybe today.
All the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics.
That's the soundbite that has kind of taken over social media.
There you go.
So that's not the part of the hour and 40 minutes that struck me, Wes. This is the part, and this is part of the opening of the statements. This was the ACC commissioner, Greg Byrne, the Alabama athletic director was there, Nick Saban was there, and also the Cavender twins were there from a student-athlete perspective. But then there was another member.
Next up is Russell White, the president of the Collective Association. Mr. White, you're recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you to Senator Cruz, Senator Moran, Senator Tillis, and everyone here on this panel. Thank you for including us and inviting us to participate today. As Senator Cruz said, I serve as the president of the Collective Association. We're a fairly newly formed trade association of college collectives from the Power Four conferences. Our mission is to advocate for college athletes' rights to monetize their name, image, and likeness without undue restriction or interference, while sharing common sense reforms and best practices that promote a sustainable model available for future collegiate athletes. I'm here because we believe that Congress does have a role in helping fix this situation we have now in college sports. And as the traditional powers in college athletics have lost legal standing to regulate the marketplace, and in many cases, they've sadly lost the trust of all the parties to do the right thing. I'd like to personally thank Senator Cruz as well as Senators Moran, Booker, and Blumenthal for the contributions to this debate and the work that they've done with us. We hope to be able to support some common sense legislation in the near future. We represent 34 NIL collectives currently that are part of the association, with rapidly expanding and adding to that number from all of the Power 4, Power 5, if you include the PAC conferences. We believe that any proposal worthy of consideration should be rooted in free market principles so that every college athlete can maximize their opportunities and ensure that governance structure for college athletics is tethered to current reality. I do want to take a moment just to underscore some things that the collective association advocates for and believes in. One, that is revenue sharing for all college athletes. We think it's a necessity, and that we believe that collectives are uniquely positioned to deliver the resources to the athletes while being able to save money for the affiliate schools. Number two is investment is long overdue and should be made to ensure that long-term physical and mental health needs of college athletes are fully available to them. Number three, we agree with the vast majority of college sports ecosystem and the college athletes we serve in voicing our opposition to classifying athletes as employees. I look forward to the discussion today, and thank you again for including us.
So that is as close.
What he just said is we want to get paid. We want to control the money. We want to control exactly what's done. We want to control college athletics. That's what he just said. Who cares? Who does he think he is? That's what these are a bunch of attorneys that are trying to take over college football. That's all this is.
That's as close to a mission statement as I've ever heard from it. This is the first time, and trust me, as soon as he spoke, I was like, wait a second.
Well, they don't want any contracts because that would deal them out. So the collectives are the answer. Yeah, right. That guy. I'm glad that they invited him, though. That was.
I am very happy.
I'm hoping what he did is just take the noose and put it around his neck.
But not everybody's leading with this.
Well, I know, because
Coach Saban is a known name.
Right, yeah.
I get that.
Well,
I understand
lead
that.
with what you want to lead with.
But that struck me. And
well, that's what's going on. We know what's going on. This is a money grab. You just heard his reason for the money grab. He wants to represent all the collectives control the university and the players. Well, they're going to have individual contracts if they're going to get paid. The collectives are not the answer. That's like these stupid thing they did with your drugs and why you're paying so much for them, and the pharmacies are all going out of business. Is because there's a middleman now that they put in that is making all the money, and it's costing all this money. At the same time, they're yelling at the drug people to lower the prices, where all the money's going to the middleman.
Pharmaceutical companies.
The pharmaceutical companies invented the drug.
Yeah.
And the reason we have these drugs. Okay? So they deserve to make money.
Yeah.
But the reason our prices are, you can buy X drug here, but you can't buy X drug. You can pay half price you buy it in another country, Canada also, but we're not allowed to buy it from Canada. It's a price fixing by the government's what's really been set up. But, anyway, that's a different subject. I just don't want to see it happen to college football, and that's what we're seeing.
Dan Murphy from ESPN, who covers this wonderful subject, is kind enough to join us here. And Dan, really appreciate the time. And I got to watch the hour and almost 40 minutes of this back and forth. What struck you up on the Hill for this conversation? Thank you for hopping on, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's nice to talk to you guys. There was some interesting conversation. They had some pretty big names at the table, but honestly, my takeaway is that we've done this a dozen times now in front of Congress, and nothing's changed. And I don't know that this is going to be the one that moves the needle either. The NCAA and the SEC and the Big Ten and every other, the schools have all been banging on Congress's door asking for a solution. It doesn't seem like any of these conversations, as interesting as they may be at times, are really moving the needle at all. We're still talking about mostly the same things we've been talking about for the past 3 or 4 years since the NIL rules changed.
Well put. But to hear Greg Byrne kind of verbalize the amount of money that is being put into these programs and the fact that right now there's 21 teams at Alabama, and it seems like if this road we keep going down, that number is going to decrease. Dan?
Yeah, I don't know that I totally buy that threat. I mean, there are other ways to trim your budget without getting rid of sports. Do you guys know how much Greg Byrne pays his softball coach at Alabama? The head softball coach?
So Patrick Murphy has
How much?
Yeah.
Take a guess.
Million.
I'll say $2 million.
Not that much. The whole softball program only brings in $1.8 million a year. But the coach makes $650,000 a year. His assistants make another $500,000. So you're paying more than $1 million a year to the coaches for a team, a business that's not making more than $1.8 million a year. The same thing with the soccer. 75% of the money that the soccer team brings in goes directly into the pockets of the coaches. And the reason those coaches are making more than $500,000 a year to coach a sport that's losing money is because the football players are paying that bill. If I'm a football player, I don't think that's fair. No one gave me the option to ask if I needed to pay so that the softball coach can live in a mansion and make $650,000. That's a lot of money to be making for a team that's losing money every year. How's that fair to the quarterback and the running back for Alabama, who are the ones that are generating that money?
Well, it's more than, I can argue that that anybody could be at the quarterback and running back position, and they're going there because it's Alabama.
I mean, you go ahead and put anybody at the quarterback position at Alabama. If you put me at the quarterback position at Alabama, I don't think you'd sell as many tickets as Bryce Young.
Well, I'm just saying that when you go to Alabama, it's a lot about the Alabama on the shirt.
Of course it is. No doubt about it. But you could say the same about the softball coach. Why is the softball coach worth $650,000?
So I don't know where you're getting your numbers. I can't argue them. I know that they're on TV at the SEC network. The Alabama softball program is a very watched commodity, and I know the SEC network doesn't break it down how much they pay the university for the content.
Yeah, so the university reports all this stuff publicly, and I'm looking at it now because I was looking at it earlier as Greg Byrne was talking about it. But the point I'm trying to make is that these budgets are so big, and Alabama spent more than $200 million on their athletic program last year. The schools down the road at Alabama Huntsville or UAB are spending $40 or $50 million a year. They don't need to spend $200 million in order to sponsor 21 sports. If their goal is really to put 21 different teams on the field and get as many opportunities as you can for as many athletes, you can do it for a lot cheaper than the Alabamas and the Auburns and the Ohio States and the USCs are doing it right now. But the reason they pay so much is because they've had all this extra money flowing in from football where they haven't been paying the players, so they need to stick that money somewhere, and it spills into not only just the softball and soccer and tennis coaches, but also into the third string strength coach that's making $600K a year or something like that for the football team.
The third string strength coach isn't making that much, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I have a son that was a third string strength coach. I know what they were making. I wish it was that.
Fair enough. That's probably an exaggeration.
Yeah, big exaggeration on that one. But so when you look at this whole thing, and I agree that there's how much of that $200 million though is actually facilities?
I'm sure there's plenty of it. Yeah, I don't have that number off the top of my head, but they're paying. But again, like you can work away. Do you need, in order to have a softball team, do you need a stadium that's costing you however many $1 million a year to do it? I don't mean to keep picking on the softball team, but let's go to the.
So my thing I don't know is how much of what is Title IX? I mean, I know Oregon, they're already sued because the softball players, I don't know if it's softball or basketball, who it is, aren't making as much as the football players. Have you seen that? And how does Title IX affect all this?
Yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting question, but I don't think the Title IX. I mean, I know the Title IX doesn't require you to build palatial locker rooms and spend that much money. You don't have to spend as much money on your your women's coaches as your men's coaches. I can promise you that the women's coaches at Alabama aren't making combined what Kalen DeBoer is going to make next year. All that Title IX asks you to do is to provide equal opportunities and equal scholarship opportunities to both men and women on your campus. There are ways to cut the budget without cutting sports.
That's fair.
Which is your point.
Yeah. That's completely fair.
Right, yeah.
And it's a very valid
point. But I don't think anybody did he say that they were going to have to cut women's sports? Excuse me.
I'll play the full opening statement, but it seems like I heard it in that opening statement from Greg Byrne like he was heading down that path.
So yeah, it's kind of a vague threat that a lot of athletic directors and people are making now, and saying that, hey, if we start paying the football and basketball players, we're not going to be able to fund the 20 other sports that we have. And I guess, my point is, one, maybe you could look for some other places to cut money. Greg Byrne makes $1.5 million a year. He doesn't need to make that much money to do the job he's doing. And two, it's not the football player and the basketball player's responsibility to make sure that there's a tennis team and a golf team.
Well, that's the truth. So what do you think fixes this problem? Because it is a problem.
Yeah, no,
I mean, the problem to me is not the players are getting paid. That doesn't really bother me. It's that they're getting paid under the auspicious of NIL when it's not really NIL.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the transfer portal, which has caused this to be just the biggest mess ever. It's the combination of the two and not having a contract. Right? If you're going to get anybody gets paid in anything in the U.S., you have a contract.
I mean, they do have contracts. We just can't see them because they're a private company, right? Like there are contracts that spell out what the terms of those NIL deals are. But I agree with you that right now we are in a spot that is a point of transition and a messy point of transition for college sports, where after decades of having really no power at all to make money or to transfer when they wanted to, athletes suddenly have the pendulum has swung so far in that athletes probably have it better right now than they ever will. I think it will swing back a little bit. Either, if Congress does end up passing a rule that claws back some of these opportunities that athletes have now, or I think more likely what we're going to end up seeing eventually is something that looks more like what happens in pro sports, where you collectively bargain. The school says, okay, listen, we want to put some restrictions in place on how often you can transfer. We want to put something like a salary cap in. And the way that we do that without getting sued every time we open our mouths is by negotiating with a group of players so that they all come to terms together and agree on them and shake hands over them. That's the way that the NFL is able to have a salary cap and able to have contracts that don't allow for players to up and leave every year if they want to. And that's one of the things that college sports has tried to avoid for a long time. But one of the things I think we heard today at that hearing was that suddenly there are more people, Nick Saban himself, a lot of the other folks around that table, I don't know if Greg Byrne quite got all the way there, but who are interested or open to the idea of sharing some of that revenue with football and basketball players and trying to negotiate a deal that not only feels fair for the players, but also feels fair to the coaches and the schools and lets them operate in something that's a little less chaotic than what we have right now.
Well, yeah, I would not only take a look at salaries for softball coaches or women's basketball coaches, but I'd also take a look at salaries of head football coaches. I mean, those numbers are getting ridiculous to me, too. I know they are the big revenue-generating sports, but I would say that needs to be reeled back, too, Dan.
Yeah, I think, right. I don't mean to pick on the softball team. I know I kind of stuck on that example for a minute, but yeah absolutely, right? The money that football coaches are making makes every other sport pale in comparison. And the reason that those salaries are so high is because schools have had the money to spend, because they haven't had to spend it on players. They haven't had to share that with the players. And so you might have coaches who are making $10, $11 million a year. I mean, I don't think anybody in America should be complaining if they're making $3, $4, $5 million a year. And if all of a sudden you cut that budget back by an extra $5, $6 million, it gets a lot easier to see how you save the tennis team and the golf team and the swimming team if you're not paying this football staff $20 million a year in total.
Well, let me just say this. I'm for free market, totally. But it has to have you have to have some kind of contract, right? And you said there are contracts, but they're not with the school, they're with a third party. They need to be with the school if they're the one doling out the money. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think that it's kind of missed in all this is a lot of people just think they're complaining about the money. No, Nick Saban's not up there complaining about the money. He's seeing what's happened to these kids that are going to the transfer portal. 60% don't go anywhere. They end up out of the portal, not getting their degrees. The chance of a kid transferring once, him going back and get his degree goes down to 20%. Mm-hmm. At Alabama, these guys were all getting their degrees. And you know this, Steve. They would be there 4 years getting masters. There'd be lists of them graduating.
Yeah.
I know, because it happened to me, that you go to the NFL. The NFL stands for not for long for most people. End of story. And you have a better what they're doing that goes behind developing these young men to be good people is a big deal. And staying under one organization for as long as you can helps you. The tax implications that these guys are about to, we haven't even seen what's about to happen because of in my opinion, the rigmarole of how it's being done. They just need some guardrails up for this new thing, and it's not all just about money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to have contracts, if you want to have ones that keep players in the same place for longer, I don't think that's a bad idea. But the way that you have to do that is you have to have the school sign a contract with the players directly. And it's not the players who are refusing to do that. It's not the collectives who are forcing them to do that. It's the schools who are saying, we're not going to do that. We don't want to sign those contracts. And I think that's changing. I think those attitudes are changing as schools see that they want more control over this. But right now, the schools have for a very long time dug in on the idea that we don't want to make athletes employees of our school. And they've got reasons for that, and a lot of them make sense. But if you want to have more control over the athlete than you do over a normal student, then you're going to have to think of them differently than a normal student. And that's sort of the sticking point right now in this conversation is, are schools going to bite the bullet and create a relationship with their athletes that looks something more like an employer-employee relationship, even if it's not quite that on paper? Or are they going to continue to have this outsource to collectives like you were talking about at the top here?
Well, why not just have the athletic department do it? Right? That's who. If they do that, then you'll have courts who look at that and say, well, these are now employees of your athletic department. And if you're going to be an employee, then you've got to have workers' comp and you've got to have an HR department. And you have to think through how that works. And if you've got the athletic department paying the football players, do they have to dole out the same amount of money to the women's athletes as well? And it gets complicated. And I think in some way it might be a solution, and in others it kicks up a whole lot of problems that so far nobody in the NCAA or who's running the athletic department has any interest in having athletes be employees of their schools.
At least what I took out of today, I don't know about you, Dan, was from the collective standpoint of just, it was interesting to me to hear their side of the story rather than just the Greg Byrne or even Jim Phillips side of the story.
Yeah, it's good to have different voices at that table. I think they did a pretty good job of having athletes and agents and athletic directors and conference commissioners and coaches. Everybody had a different perspective, which I appreciate. It's not something we've always had at those congressional hearings. And I don't know that those collectives are going away, whether you like them or not. That's another option to find marketing deals and endorsement deals for players. I don't think those are ever going away at this point.
How different are these state laws? I know they referenced that several times. Are they significantly different, or are they kind of fairly uniform, Dan?
So, yeah, NIL laws started changing in the summer of 2021. We're almost 3 years in. And so far, there have been there is one instance of a state law being invoked to try to get involved in negotiating an NIL deal, or the state law being a state being asked to enforce its law out of the hundreds of thousands of deals that have happened. And again, look, there are reasons why this is complicated and reasons why it might make sense to have some more national rules and some uniformity. But I'm not sure I really buy that reason as an excuse. Right now, in order for a state law to get in the way of an athlete making some money or some of these deals happening, you'd have to have the attorney general of a state try to take money out of an athlete's hands. And I don't think you're going to find many attorney generals who are willing to make that move politically. It hasn't been an issue so far. I understand they want some consistency, but a lot of states have different laws for the way that endorsements are handled for musicians or for professional athletes, or we have tons of different state laws for gambling, for other things like that. Yeah. Somehow we still manage to have a country despite that. I don't know that that's the biggest problem that needs to be solved in this issue.
So do you think Coach Saban was overpaid?
Do I think he was overpaid?
Yes.
I don't know. He paid what the market would give him, given what the market was. I think he coached during an era when his players if his players were making money during that era, then he would have made less money. But he got what the market decided he was worth. So that's what you're worth in a capitalist society.
Do you realize that enrollment at the University of Alabama went from 17,000 to 40-something thousand students since he's been there?
Nick Saban had a wonderful impact on the University of Alabama and the whole state of Alabama, and he should be paid for that. But so did Tua Tagovailoa. So did Bryce Young. So did Derrick Henry. So did the dozens and dozens of terrific.
They weren't there for 17 years though. I can name. Hell, I was back in the day. Yeah,
I'm not saying they should have made $100 million like Coach Saban did, but they provided more value than they got out of it. And I don't know if you can say the same for Coach Saban.
Oh, I would disagree, because he developed those kids. They all have their degrees, and they're making Derrick's making $8 million the next 2 years
for Baltimore.
Yeah. He took what was the guy, the defensive lineman that made the most money?
He made
$135 million. Nobody knows his name.
Marcel Darius.
Yeah, Darius. He changed his name. It was Darius. Now it's Darius. Yeah. So they've done well, and I think developing these players is important. Both.
Sure it is, but let me tell you. Let me put it this way. I used to have a job at a smaller newspaper, and a huge part of that job was the fact that I was developed and I got to write and I got to be a better journalist because of it. But I still got paid. I still got paid because of the work I did there. Like, professional development is something that you can have at a job. It shouldn't be. That's not fair compensation. If you're working for a business that's bringing in $120 million a year, and they say, well, we're just going to make you better so you can make money down the road, I don't know that I'd consider that fair compensation.
They got a degree too. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid something. I agree with that.
As someone who paid off student loans, yes, I can appreciate.
Yeah. So yes. So I'm for them getting paid. I'm just not for this every 6 months renegotiating their contract. I mean, no, I don't know many people that are against the players making money. I really don't. I don't know many coaches are. What they're against is and they see in the negatives that nobody wants to talk about. And
keep the lights on, pay the bills.
Because in the end, that college degree for 98% of these kids maybe will be the most important thing they have.
I trust me. I'm someone who has benefited from that. I don't disagree that a college degree is an incredibly valuable thing to have. But if everybody let's think of another business other than sports, right? Let's think if every software engineer, if every sports reporter had to get capped at the exact same salary that they could make along with everyone else they worked with, we wouldn't consider that to be a fair system. So I'm not saying that they didn't get compensated by having a college degree. The part that's not fair is the players had this artificial cap, which is something that throughout the history of America, we've decided is not a good idea and it's not fair to workers.
Well, the NIL, the NFL has a salary cap. The NIL is not capped. The true NIL, not playing these players that are in high school with NIL quote unquote money. That's part of the issue too. It's not true NIL, which was name, image, likeness, was always have been for. I thought it was crazy that I remember the NCAA had a rule that I couldn't ride with a coach to my brother's high school football game when he was playing the same town we were playing in. They were going to watch him to recruit him. That's just, I mean, it was so stupid, their rules, the stupidity of it, and that's why we're here where we are now, right? There's no way to defend.
Yeah, to a certain degree. They were stuck and unwilling to make small compromises along the way, and so they lost control of how the system was going to be shaped.
And now
it's just out of control.
And I would argue for every 5 people that's helping, there's 3 that is hurting, that are transferring and not going anywhere. They're just stuck
I would love to know the real number, though, rather than just throwing darts.
It's 60%. I know that.
But I'd love to know the real number, honestly, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. I would say overall, the athletes that I talk to on a regular basis, I haven't heard any of them that say that they're upset of this system versus the one that they were in 3 or 4 years ago. Most of them say they're pretty happy with the way things have changed. But yeah, I mean, I hear you. I don't think it's going to work out for everybody. That a free market never does.
Well said.
Well said.
Well said. Dan, I can't thank you enough for hopping on, and always enjoy your stuff there on ESPN.com, sir.
Yeah, fun conversation, guys. I appreciate you entertaining.
Absolutely. Of course. We are all heading down this unpaved road trying to figure out where
which is not really
where the asphalt is, and just get on it.
It's not getting any less bumpy anytime soon.
It doesn't sound like it, does it?
No. Thank you, sir. That is Dan Murphy from ESPN.com. Really good conversation there with Dan. Coming up next hour.
But everybody brings the revenue thing up. They don't ever talk about what we're, and now they're realizing that, the revenue's not quite what the profit is, so we need to start cutting people's salary. I mean,
well, coming up at the top of the next hour, I figure out what this guy's doing now. Joe Pendry, he's going to join us. Coach Pendry is going to join us at the top of the next hour.
We got to get some dirt on Coach.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well. That now that Coach has exited stage left, had a nice little back and forth.
Henshaw too.
Well,
they were roommates.
So we will dig up some dirt on this gravel road that we're all on right now, and move forward. And I'll play a little bit of what Greg Byrne had to say in part of his opening statement up in D.C., and we do need to take our first time out. We're live here from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, just getting things started. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
No payments for 90 days on 23 and 24 models. Financing as low as 0% and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 47 years in a row. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's Truck Month. The best deals on F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and Escape. During Truck Month, get financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150 Crew Cabs, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends 4/2/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have over 40 Bronco Sports and nearly 50 Explorers and about a dozen full-size Broncos, all with great sales incentives and no payment for 90 days. Truck Month only happens once a year. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Entertaining conversation there with Dan Murphy from ESPN.com. Here is what Greg Byrne had to say. This is his opening remarks up in D.C. earlier today.
Thank you, Coach. Next, we have Greg Byrne, the athletic director of the University of Alabama. Mr. Byrne, you're recognized.
Yes, Ranking Member Cruz, Senator Tillis, Senator Moran, and other distinguished guests. I echo Coach Saban's appreciation for putting this group together and allowing us to be a part of this. I believe in college athletics as one of the truly special and unique aspects of our country, and one that provides hundreds of thousands of opportunities to student athletes every year. I also think the discussion about NIL doesn't recognize necessarily the appreciation of the level of institutional involvement and investment in student athletes currently. Before we even get to any additional compensation for their NIL, many athletes, student athletes at the University of Alabama, receive over $40,000 in cash on an annual basis, including scholarship stipends, Alston payments, full cost of attendance payments, and other student athlete funding. Beyond the cash benefits, they receive a greater amount in the form of non-monetary benefits, such as their scholarships, food, nutrition, housing, academic support, leadership development, mental health services, financial training, sports medicine. Because of this, for most sports in college, the costs exceed the revenue. The University of Alabama proudly supports 21 different athletic programs, which we strive to run at a championship level. Only 2 of those programs, however, generate more revenue than expenses: football and men's basketball. The excess revenue from these 2 programs effectively offset the roughly $40 million annually the other 19 programs collectively run in losses each year. If it weren't for football, we would not have 21 sports at the University of Alabama. We do not want to see college athletics lose women's sports, Olympic sports, a lot of great opportunities and experience for the young people who participate in those programs. The vitality of college sports will be threatened. So those are some of my concerns and many of my colleagues' concerns, and we would love to be a resource in any way that can help to develop a legislative solution for long-term health of intercollegiate athletics.
That is Greg Burns' opening statement from earlier today. Let's head over to the VBC, shall we? Captain Cool is over there right now as the Conference USA tournament about to begin. Give us an update there from inside the VBC, sir.
Well, it's not about to begin. It's already underway. We got Sam Houston going up against UTEP women's basketball. And I will say, not a lot of people here for this first game. This first day is going to kind of stick like that. But I think moving forward, you're going to get a little bit of those top teams coming in. You're going to get a little bit more attention, especially with Jackson State coming in tonight for that men's basketball matchup.
So, I mean, you're there. Sounds like you're hip deep in it.
Yeah.
Down there on the court.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's college basketball. I mean, you're going to have that college experience. Just bringing it to the VBC is just a kind of an awesome, surreal type of feeling. I know we've had it before, but, I mean, we got a whole tournament's worth of it, not in just the men's, but the women's as well. So it's a lot of basketball. Everybody's going to be able to come down and watch.
So it sounds like you're double dipping. Are you like playing the drums in the pep band, or what's going on, John?
I'm actually on the first row. I believe it's section 212, wherever this is. Sam Houston or UTEP, one of their bands is right in front of me, and there's just 3 Toombas just ready to blast out the mic. So,
John,
I'm ready for it.
John, what's the score of the game?
It is a 10-8. Sam Houston's currently up. It looks like UTEP just put 11 up on the board with the three-pointer. So UTEP's up 11-10.
Thank you very much. We'll be in touch, sir.
All right, can't wait.
He can't wait. Neither can we. Oh, mercy.
We got everything but the catering update, didn't we?
Oh, mercy. Oh, mercy. Conference USA basketball tournament going on as we speak. Mark Camara is here with us.
Got a patio looking.
Oh my gosh, a patio out here looks fantastic.
It's like the change of the season when they open the patio. We know it's all. The warm weather is on its way.
Going to have a big show here Saturday night. So that'll be the first night that's actually open. So other than this and being able to walk out here. Got a rapper that I usually never have a rapper, but my manager, one of them that works for me, named Shane Bickle. It's his birthday, and he wanted this. He's into that. And somebody named Ritz, which is, there's a lot of people know who Ritz is. I have no idea. But
it's a cracker, right?
Yeah,
I mean
there you go. That's probably. Is he a white rapper?
Yes.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good call,
that's
fantastic. Yeah. So
I had no idea.
We've sold tons of tickets. This place is going to be a zoo Saturday night with this. So something new. I don't usually do things like that here, but
are you going to be a guest rapper?
I'm not going to.
Guest rapper.
I'm going to be hiding way back over in the corner somewhere, man. So, but it'll be something different and fun. And open the patio up, and then bike night starts here soon. We got a bunch of new sponsors and new radio station involved, and it's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to it. Got some big shows coming up.
It's unbelievable how many? I mean, it's worth it just to come to look at the bikes if you're not a biker.
Oh, there's some of them bikes out there worth 80 to 100,000
It's
bucks.
nuts.
Man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they're
crazy.
so nice.
So,
Yeah.
And then
Did I see this right? Driving and Crying?
Driving and Crying will be here.
They've been here several times.
Yes, they have.
They're
This
really
will be
good
the third
shows.
time.
Yeah, they are.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're back in the day, aren't they? I mean,
Yeah, they
got
are.
some hits, and they've been here
I've seen
before.
them here,
so.
and I've seen them in Destin, Florida.
Saw them at the Roxy back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. yeah.
Only good thing is I didn't get pulled over on the way home when I came left the first factory.
That's crazy, man. But I'm looking forward to it, you know. So, and getting ready to. I took over Rocket Republic next door, and we'll start knocking these, not walls down, but redoing that whole place, and kind of something different. Place called BAM, BAAM, and kind of an Asian fusion type food place.
All right, yeah.
The guy that ran Mikado's for years, if you remember Mikado's.
Yes, I do.
Song. He's partnered up on that, and he's going to be in that kitchen, so the food will be
That
absolutely
is a great
phenomenal,
idea.
you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
So it'd be pretty neat, you know.
Nice little corner you got here.
Oh, yeah.
Have three of them, and we have really neat music scene over there with a nice. It's a cool patio, holds about 150 people, and inside, and kind of complement this place here. You'll have a choice when you come down here on a weekend night or during the week or whatever to go to either spot, you know. So, but just getting ready, man.
Maybe the back corner of Rocket Republic we can call Status.
It's not Rocket Republic no more. It'll be called BAM.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That the back corner of BAM will be. That's where the Status.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But anyway,
I think Status is now a kitchen.
Yeah, you're right. But how? What about you guys, man? Everything good?
Yeah, just getting ready to head to Fort Lauderdale for myself and the UH Chargers for a little Division II NCAA. The bracket's already out for D2, and
I saw it the other night.
Big Bad Nova is still Big Bad Nova.
Man, you know, Anthony coaches Montevallo, and they played Nova early in the year down there. You were there.
Yes, I was.
And they are. It's amazing what Coach Crutchfield's done. He just
lost everybody and
plays 11, 12 deep again, and it just wins and
How
all
does
that.
he do that, Mark? It's recruiting the players. How does he get the players? Does he have an eye for it?
He has a system that nobody in the country runs it like him. I mean, and it's a pressing system, and they run guys in and out, and
I call it
hard to watch.
Sharknado.
Anthony tried it. My son studied it for the last 2 or 3 years, and he tried it this year, but he didn't have the personnel like these guys do.
Right.
But Coach Crutchfield offered to help him any way he could. He said, if you ever learn that system in the league he's in up here and gets it implemented, you'll run through the league. You know, so
I think I may have found a secret when we were down there for the NCAA tournament last year. Bumped into Coach Crutchfield. This is before the regional final. He had his hand on a palm tree right outside of where the teams come in.
You had me to
you talking about Coach
Crutchfield had his hand on a palm tree, and while talking to his granddaughter, and so I tried to shake his hand, and he said, "No, I'm sorry, sir, I cannot shake your hand right now." So I ended up talking to him on the court, and I said, he came up to me and said, "That's my lucky palm tree. You caught me with my lucky palm tree." And of course, they went undefeated last year.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how certain idiosyncrasies just kind of stick with the coach. So when I go down there, the first thing I'm doing is I'm putting my hand on that palm tree.
You remember which palm tree?
Oh,
it is?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Absolutely. I remember.
Oh, he's amazing what he does. And I was out there at UH today, Jacksonville State. I'm going to go to the game tonight. They play FIU.
That's right.
And I was at UH watching them shoot around today, and sure enough, Coach Schulman was up there, and he's all fired up, and some of the coaches were with him, his son, and you know, I talked to him for a few minutes, just proud of him, you know, for what he's done, and
what a run.
Go down there and make that run, and you know, he's got a really tough first game, and then he'll have Nova again, but I think, I mean, his guys are a year older and experience wise, and Coach Schulman has come up with a few little snags defensively in the last month or so, and he's pretty clever. You know, I've watched him play, so it's going to be fun to watch. It'll be an interesting tournament, you know. So
well, and the D1 tournament, this is as wide open. I mean, Houston really impressed me over the weekend how they dismantled Kansas.
They guard, man. They make you want to chunk the ball up in the bleachers. I mean, say, let me out. Get me off this court, man. Guys looking over the bench, please, somebody come in.
Calvin Sampson's another guy who, boy, he wins everywhere he goes. Right. And I know there was a little bit of NCAA issue, but still, I mean, he can coach and he can recruit and he can put it together.
Yes, he's just it's amazing. But he's everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
You know? He got a hiccup or two earlier on in his career that he was let go at Indiana with some things, but you know, all the things that he was let go for, probably you can do every one of them now, so it doesn't really matter, you know.
He had a little practice, and now he knows how to do it.
Call him recruits or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it's going to be fun to watch, you know. So, and we're loaded up TV-wise here once March Madness comes, and we'll have little specials going on, and the food is phenomenal, and
no doubt about that.
You know, so got a good
clientele. In the lunch special, I came by twice last week because
a good little ribeye.
I'm just telling you, it's the best deal in town.
Yeah, it is. It's a good little vegetable.
Yeah.
With it, and the steak is really good. I mean, and you know, I got good cooks in there, and they fire it up and
Tony,
get it out as quick as you can. You know. So,
yeah.
But
right now, I'm thinking Tony's wife is a notch better than Tony.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad they're not listening. You know, so they better be in there working. But we got a few people. It's a slower week generally with spring break. If you can see, you get out on the roads and there's no traffic hardly
I
at all.
didn't think about that.
See, once you get out there, like going home where you live,
oh my
way
goodness.
out there.
Yeah,
so
usually it's backed up right now.
It's bananas.
There's
look
nothing
at it
up
now.
there. It's
Nothing. Zero.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I noticed that last night. But the golf course out there, Southern Gales, anybody listening, you want a really cool place to play, you know, it's 25 minutes out there between Athens and Ardmore. My son Greg runs it.
They do a great job.
And
I need to get out there.
It's really neat. We got a.
Man, I hear all the, you know, my kids talk about they've played it. And they all brag about it.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and Greg does a really good job with it. So we'll see. You know.
Always fun to be here at the Furniture Factory.
Yeah, glad you're here, and good luck to y'all, and good luck this weekend down at Miami.
I hope I'm not here a week from today. A week from today is the regional final down at Nova.
Right.
And there was a couple of coaches we kind of joked around. Wouldn't it be nice to have 50 people in the stands for West Georgia against UAH one more time for a regional championship?
That would be neat, wouldn't it?
I'd be fine with that.
What days does UH play?
It would be Saturday night. It's scheduled. It's the last game of the day. 6:30 is the Central Time tip time down there at Nova. I'm not sure of the quick turnaround for the Sunday game, but as you mentioned, it'd be Nova, so I'm guessing it'd be closer to prime time, maybe 5 or 7. But then, of course, the day off, and then get ready for the regional final potentially on Tuesday.
That'd be great. And I just got off the phone with another friend of ours and congratulated him. That's Bucky.
Oh, yeah, Bucky Ball.
McMillan.
Yeah.
You know, I just talked to him and
dancing.
His father is a dear friend of mine, and I used to coach AAU ball against him, and Bucky was a player, and he was really, really good. So, and then now look what he's doing at Sanford, and
it's unreal.
And so he's got a squad, man. So
yes, he
congratulations to him too. So.
I feel sorry for that 5 seed, whatever that. If it is a 5-12 matchup, that is going to have to play Sanford. So that'll be fun.
We'll see. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
Let's take our final time out here in this first hour. We'll be right back and wrap it up in hour number 1 here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
No payments for 90 days on 23 and 24 models. Financing as low as 0% and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 47 years in a row. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's Truck Month. The best deals on F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and Escape. During Truck Month, get financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150 Crew Cabs, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends 4/2/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have over 40 Bronco Sports and nearly 50 Explorers and about a dozen full-size Broncos, all with great sales incentives and no payment for 90 days. Truck Month only happens once a year. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you could even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, making a solid run at 70 degrees, but it appears we're going to fall just shy. We drop into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures are going to consistently climb into the lower 70s. Really going to be a fantastic day. We're only going to drop into the low 50s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Maybe an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Coach Joe Pendry is going to join us here in less than 10 minutes. As we're live here from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We have already covered a lot of material here on a Tuesday. Coming up tomorrow, shortened show due to the SEC men's basketball tournament. Of course, we're your home for the SEC basketball tournament, as that coverage will start at 5:45 tomorrow from Nashville, Tennessee, where it's supposed to be held each and every year.
So, one of the questions I have, and I wanted to go down the road, but, we were jumping all over the place on the with the guy from ESPN.com.
Yeah. Dan Murphy.
Yeah, how do you, I mean, like, you have all these secondary sports like softball, using this example.
Yeah.
Which is on TV, right? When they say they lose money, they're only brought in this or that. How do they know what they brought in? If you're getting paid for the network, do they break it down what they pay for each event?
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
It's just a lump sum that they get out of ESPN.
And let me say, the SEC network is a reason for the explosion of football. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Basketball.
But softball,
it's
too.
It's the reason. But everybody watches softball, too. Not as many as football, obviously. Not as many as basketball. But without the SEC network, would the Southeastern Conference be doing so good in basketball? I say no way.
Baseball is very competitive, too.
Yeah.
I mean.
The best thing was ever written that opened my eyes to that is when the Big East had the TV contract. And those were the top teams. And now they don't have the contract like they did. And there's one or two teams left, and the rest are struggling.
Time to dig up some dirt on Coach Saban. We'll explain in 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Nick DeLuca. NFL's free agent negotiating window continues, and a big deal for Danielle Hunter, former Vikings edge rusher, signing with the Texans on a 2-year, $49 million contract with $48 million guaranteed, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Hunter can earn up to $51 million in incentives. Hunter has a double-digit sack season in each of his last 4 full years, finishing with a career-high 16.5 in 2023. Four-time Pro Bowler, has led the league in tackles for loss last year as well. Spent the first 8 years of his career in Minnesota. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins are adding to their secondary, signing former Bills All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer to a 1-year deal. Poyer released by Buffalo this offseason after 7 years with the team. Finished with 100 total tackles in 2023. Earlier today, the Ravens agreeing to terms with former Titans running back Derrick Henry. The King heading to Baltimore on a 2-year deal to bolster the Ravens' rushing attack. Four-time Pro Bowler led the league in rushing attempts last season, and Chris Carlin thinks he's still got a lot of good football left.
He's one of those guys that if you're going to tell me he's dead, show me the button. Like, you can tell me his career's over. We may have seen little doses of diminished production, little tiny inklings of it. I actually need to see it fully before I believe it.
Carlin on Carlin versus Joe. Elsewhere, Levante David returning for his 13th season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, agreeing to a 1-year, $9 million contract with a max value of $10 million.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. I'll tell you if the Cowboys are actually Super Bowl contenders or setting themselves up for failure once again. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. And always fun to talk with our next guest. And things are a little different now that certain head coach isn't in Tuscaloosa. So maybe we can get the real story on Coach Saban as Coach Joe Pendry is kind enough to join us. Coach, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you guys doing this evening? I know Wes is right up there standing tall.
That's right. As tall as I can, but not tall enough.
And Steve, you got to put up with him.
There is no doubt about that, Coach.
So, Wesley's at Ole Miss, and they hired his roommate just recently as an analyst, which I say is the shortest center in history. Of course, we argue about that, and that's William Vallejos.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, he is a GA now at Ole Miss, and actually we're going back and forth with him. I told him I could eat soup off his head.
I know I can. I used to tell him that. I said, I can eat peanuts off the top of your head. I tell you what, though, I've never had a tougher, smarter guy. I've had guys with more ability down through the years and all that, but a tougher, smarter competitor, I'm telling you, that was William Vallejos.
He is a good guy, too. I mean, yeah. Him and Wesley were roommates.
Yeah, I know.
He just, it happened late last week, I guess, and I was having fun with him. We were having fun with each other. He said he's the second. He's the second shortest center there behind me. So, Coach, talk a little bit about what all goes in to develop an offensive lineman, because most people just don't show up and play.
No.
It's the exception, it's the rule. What are you looking, and how did you go about developing these players?
Well, Wes, you've been there, so you've been through it. But once you get a guy in, and my high school basketball coach told me this when I was playing. He set me down and he said, "Joe, here's your strengths," which were very few, by the way. And then he'd say, here are your weaknesses. We're going to take those weaknesses and things that you need to develop to make you as good as you can be. And that's what I tried to do. If a guy didn't have the feet that you needed, then I wanted to do the drills to get his feet better. If he didn't have the upper body strength, then we want to do that in the weight room. And if he didn't have the work habits, that was up to me to instill the work habits that it would take to do it. But it wasn't even when I was coaching offensive line. When I was running offenses in the NFL, coaching quarterbacks or any position I coached, I tried to do the same thing. Identify where you need to work. Accentuate the positive and get rid of the negative of the best you can. And that's what I tried to do. And you can do a lot of that mentally. If you can increase a guy's mental capacity to play the position. In other words, the more you know, the better off you are, then he can use and overcome some lesser athletic ability or size, like we're talking about with William Vallejos.
So I guess the hardest thing would be is if they're not self-motivated, that'd be the most frustrating thing in the world, right?
Oh, that's where sometimes you just can't get over that hurdle, But fortunately, during my time there in the NFL, They were, and you know that, Wes. By the time they get there, they are, and the money helps motivate them even further. But in college, you try to find all that out while you're recruiting them to make sure they have it. Now, some of them have that burning desire that they're not going to fail. They're going to do whatever they have to. They're just not going to fail, and those are the ones you want. Because, man, you talk about take a piece of clay and mold it. That's exactly what you can do.
So I guess the hard part with the offensive linemen, to me, is usually they're some of the smartest guys on the team, and you got to play with a passive aggressiveness, I would say.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Because if you come off too fast and too hard, then you get over your feet. You might block him for a second, but he's going to shed you and make the tackle.
Yeah, that's the reason, Wes. One of the things I always stressed was getting your second step on the ground quickly. And everything after that was short, balanced steps. Because if you take big, long steps and you make contact, then you're off balance. So you want, the things I stress, second step on the ground, hands inside, low to high. All the time. And if you can keep your hands inside the framework of your body, in pass protection, any run block, if you think about it, any time that any part of your arms get outside the framework of the body, you've lost power and balance. And then that's where a lot of holding comes in.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So it's controlled aggression as you come off the ball. And to do that, you got to have your hands inside, got to get your second step on the ground, got to be flat back, low to high.
One of the
That's
things
what
I used to do, and I see they're teaching it now. Coach Fuller used to get on me about it. But sometimes, especially if I was being crowded, I would take a little step really quick backwards with one foot, and then center the guy. And I saw a guy teaching that just the other day, and Fuller used to go, "Why do you do that?" I mean, I couldn't explain why, but when I went and watched it recently, I was doing it because the guy was basically helmet to helmet to me, so I was getting a little.
When you're playing center and you've got that zero technique nose sitting right on your head, if you step forward, then and you don't make the contact, it better be a short step, but a parallel or lose a little ground step. That allows you then to square him up, get in position, get your hands inside on him. You know, I agree with that 100%.
So what was it like? What was George Henshaw like in college?
George was a tough defensive lineman. Wasn't very big, but was a great technique player, great effort, was a smart player, and he worked at it. Now he was a solid defensive lineman in college. You know, back when we were playing, back in the 60s, though, 225-pound defensive lineman, 230, that was good size. That's about what George was. He might have gotten to 240 one time. I doubt it.
He told me he could take me one time.
Coach, I think he's talking more about what was he like off the field.
But I wouldn't.
George was a little bit. He was like a lot of us at that age, wild horse riders. A lot of things we don't want to admit to now. That's the reason. That's the reason I could condone a lot of things that the players would do. For the grace of God, we would have been there.
So what about? I just got a text from Walter Lewis, who I know is listening. He just said that Henshaw was a great coach. So that's there you go.
I meet up with
we all know
every
that.
summer. Every summer we meet up at a place in West Virginia. We go up for a function that's called Game Changers that this organization I've kind of help out with. They try to get into schools in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade up through high school to change the game about drug use. And George comes up every year, he and Kathy, so we get a chance to spend time together.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah, I've taken my children to meet him down in Destin and have dinner with him, and he comes because I pay. So,
oh, yeah. Yeah, if it's free, it's for me.
So, give us some Coach Saban stories now that you would find, because y'all, Coach Hishaw told me y'all recruited him, but he wasn't good enough to give a ticket. Y'all made him sneak through a window to get into the game.
You told me that, Wes, but I don't remember that. But I knew Nick. My roommate in college was Joe Manchin, the senator, and Joe. Joe and I are about 5 years older than Nick, I think. Anyhow, or 4. But at that, when we were playing, freshmen couldn't play varsity football. So on Friday night before a game, Joe grew up about 25 miles from Morgantown, and that's where Nick was from, close by. And then I'd go home with Joe because my home was 6 or 7 hours away. And we went down, and Joe's younger brother was playing at Farmington High School, and Nick was playing at Monongahela. They're playing each other. So I saw Nick play. And then he used to come up to once we started coaching up there, and Nick had graduated. His dad had been involved in football, and Pop Warren, Nick's dad, and Pop Warren, he'd bring him up and around. So I knew Nick then. And Nick was a hell of a little quarterback, good baseball player, good basketball player. And his teams won. He did a heck of a job.
So I was always told that you were the guy who grounded Coach Saban. Nick.
Well, you know what, Wes? Yeah, and you've had friends like this. Nick and I we've worked together, and we were together at West Virginia. I've known him forever. I never coached with him in the NFL, but when he was at Cleveland, then I was at Kansas City or Chicago, and we spent time, and then we'd always talk football. You know, we were always doing that, and our families knew each other. So when I went there with Nick, it was probably a different relationship than other coaches had with him. You know, well, I know it was. And, of course, I was a hell of a lot older than most of them, than any of them, and had been through a lot more. And Nick and I had a lot of respect for one. I had a lot of respect for him. I think he had some respect for me, but we did. We had a very good relationship. And you know, I hear all these stories about him getting on people and all that, and some of them are true, and most of the time they deserved it. But I don't think he and I ever had a cross word, to be honest with you.
There you go.
Yeah, he was.
He never spanked you like you did Kiffin. That's what you're saying.
No, we got along well, and I had a lot of respect for him. I mean, he and I still do. He's driven, passionate, intelligent, and caring. And you put a lot of those things in, and very communicates well. You put those things together, you'd probably be a success in a lot of businesses.
There's no question. You know what I say, Coach? Having kind of grown up with Coach Bryant, and then went through the change when he left, and then you know, watching my sons who one of them played for Coach Saban, and you guys down there, it's Coach Bryant changed college football with the way he outworked everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. He had the same thing, and every year was different. He pushed you. You worked harder than everybody else, and then that led to wins. And Coach Saban changed college football probably more than anybody behind the scenes. Also, with the people graduating on time, getting their degrees, just the systems he put in, and it was a perfect storm in my opinion because the college president at the time wanted to grow the university, which made him and Mal knowing what he had to do and putting some of the things in place before he got there so he could get somebody like Coach Saban to come. And it was the perfect storm. But to win and to continue to win like Coach Saban did, it's unbelievable to me.
It is, Wes. I look back on it now because I was around there, even though I went on the field all the time for all of them, except the 1 year that I was the general manager of that AAF team, and I was still around there because I still live in Tuscaloosa. But and you hit it right there. That combination of Dr. Witt, Mal Moore, and Nick, that triad, I mean, I don't know if they could have done it without the three of them. But that's what allowed that program, and each one of them had a big part of that success of that program. And Mal, God love him. I loved Mal Moore.
Yeah, we all did. I mean,
Mal and I, since I was closer to Mal's age, and when I was coaching, when we went on away trips on the plane, then Mal put me up there and I sat with him on all the away trips. And we told more lies than stories than we've gone in the rest. I've heard all about you. I've heard about all the stories down through the years.
Oh, God. So,
you don't want to open up that can right there?
Change the subject. No. We changed the subject. So when we get to but Coach Saban changed it behind the scenes where everybody made fun of Alabama for a while, having all these coaches, all these analysts, what all he did for the academic part. But now everybody, all they've done is copy him.
Oh, no doubt. Well, you look at all the guys who've gone out to other places and are coaching. Every place they've gone, Kirby's got it the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Sark's got it over there. Billy Napier's got it at Florida. I mean, Lane Kiffin up at Ole Miss. They all, that's the program. And if you go in and watch them practice, I'll bet you their practice schedules are set up the same way. I know Charles Huff, who was the running back coach there, is the head coach at Marshall now. He's doing it exactly like that. And the guy at Maryland, same way.
Yeah.
Loxley.
Yeah.
Loxley, yeah.
Well, he had one time he had half the coaches were from. Wesley was up there for a year with Lance
Thompson.
Yeah, Lance
and he was.
Yeah. He loved it up there. He loves Loxley.
You got to be proud of Wesley. And I tell you what, Wesley, I remember I talked to him when he was at South Florida.
Yes.
He was wanting to get into pro football, and he called, and Vic Fangio, who I'd worked with on 2 different occasions, got the head job at Denver. So I called Vic Fangio about him, and he was very interested in him. I told him all about him. He'd already hired somebody in that position. But Wes has earned it, and he is a sharp guy. He works at it, studies it, and communicates well. So he's got a great future in the business.
Well, we're proud of him, no doubt. he's going to have to make a lot of money, Coach. He got 4 kids, so
yeah,
but he's over there with really 2 of the best minds. That's the other thing Coach Saban did. They kind of made fun. I mean, when he hired Coach Kiffin, I even was taken aback. I'm telling you, I was like, yeah. But I never doubted it because Lane is a genius, really.
Yeah, he is.
And so is Sark. And think about they coached together and all those guys.
Yeah.
But Coach Saban was saving these guys' career. And it wasn't just those 2. We can probably name 10 more that they would have been done in football, more than likely, if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he did it, and he recognized their talents, and he got the best out of them, and that progressed them to basically where they are now.
Talking to Coach Joe Pendry right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. So, Coach, take me back to your time with the Texans and the conversation there with Coach Saban. What brought you to Tuscaloosa in the first place there, Coach?
Well, actually, when I was there, our staff had gotten let go, so I didn't know what I was going to do. And matter of fact, I was with Joe Manchin. He was the governor of West Virginia, and my wife were over there visiting with them when Nick took the Alabama job. And so we got on the phone and started talking, and then I thought I'd go down for 2 to 3 years, see if I could help a little bit. And 17 years later, and I don't know if I helped, but it helped me. It was enjoyable, I tell you, and I knew that Nick would be successful because I knew him.
So at least what I hear, and certainly don't know Nick as well as Wes and you, sir, but at least what I hear is it's tough to work for Nick Saban, that the turnaround is happening so frequently because he's so tough to work for.
Well, he is demanding that you take care of the little things and do your job right. If that is tough to work for, then I would want to be the same way. He's got, and the other thing is he does not want surprises because everything is so organized, and this is the way it should be, and this is the way we're going to do every drill. This is where we're going to be in practice, what you're going to do in recruiting. This is how we're going to handle players, academics. All that is so organized. And if you step out of that organizational line, then there will be a confrontation and a come to Jesus. I never saw that he was tough to work for. I thought he was demanding. And matter of fact, a lot of guys have been through there. I'll tell you the same thing.
I mean, all great coaches are like that. All great leaders are like that. You think Coach Bryant was Kumbaya singing, holding hands?
No.
You got to be kidding me. You know what the difference between Nick Saban's and Coach Bryant was?
What?
About 12 inches and 100 pounds. Yeah. And other than that, they're the damn same.
I know a good friend of mine who when I was running the offense of Kansas City Chiefs back in the late 80s, early 90s, I hired Bruce Arians, was my running back coach. And he, as a young coach, had worked for Bear.
Was there when I was there?
Yeah, Bruce was there. And Bruce used to tell me about some of those staff meetings. And he said, you better be on top of everything. And Bruce said, I learned at an early age to listen to the man, know the way he wanted it. It was demanding, and it better get done that way.
Oh yeah, and we've had Bruce on several times.
Yeah.
And he played for Jimmy Sharp, who
that's right. We've had Coach Sharp on too.
Yeah, played next to my dad at Alabama,
yeah.
So he was that's who got him the job, really.
That's right.
you know, Coach Bryant was very demanding. There's no question about that. And very organized, just the same thing. You better know your stuff or you couldn't fake it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. He was demanding on coaches and players.
Absolutely. But now there was plenty of people trying to get away with stuff, and I've heard you heard all the Dude Hennessy stories from Mal.
Yeah, I heard those. Now, it seemed like every week it was a different one that I'd hear.
Oh, yeah, Duty. That's what we call him. Dude Hennessy, Duty. Yeah, he was something else. Played for Coach Bryant at Kentucky, and he's the only player I know that was shorter than Coach Saban that played a lot. Was Dude Hennessy.
Dude.
He was an all-conference defensive end, and he wasn't. He's probably 5'10", 5'9", maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I had a quarterback when I was running. I had Buffalo Bills run the offense was like that. Doug Flutie.
Oh yeah.
Doug said he was 5'10". I told him, I said, if you're 5'9", because you talk about eating peanuts off the top of the guy's head, I could do it off Flutie. But I'll tell you what, when he went out there, we won a bunch of games with that guy because he was a ball player.
Yeah.
He wasn't ever giving up, that's for sure.
No. Those kind of guys, man.
I still remember the playoff game in Nashville against the Titans. And I'm sorry if it's a sore subject for you, Coach, but I remember thinking Flutie's just a winner. And, Rob Johnson certainly had the prototype, look of the quarterback. But, man, Doug Flutie was just a winner, Coach.
Yeah, I know. See, what had happened, the way we ended up playing Rob Johnson in that game is Doug had a slight hamstring pull, and we played our last game of the season, and this was against Indianapolis, and we played Rob Johnson. We played the Indianapolis Colts. This was Peyton's first year, and Peyton had thrown interceptions. I think he threw 3 that day, and we beat them like, I can't remember the score, by the way. It was 38-6 or somewhere like that. Well, Ralph Wilson, the owner, then comes to Wade Phillips, and we're getting ready to go play the next week, the Tennessee Titans, and he says, "You're playing. We're going to play Ralph. We're going to play Johnson this week.
Yeah,
Rob Johnson this week." Well, Wade comes to me on Monday night. I'm in there game planning. He sits down. He said, "We're going to play Rob this week." I thought he was kidding. And I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "No, I'm serious." I said, "Wait, we can't do that." He said, "Joe, listen to me. We're playing Rob Johnson this week." I knew the man was serious. And so we did. And we still had a chance to win the game. We didn't play as good offense as we had. We were up 2 points and kicked off, and then it's the
it took a miracle. It took a miracle.
Yeah.
I've been in some of those. I'm sure you all have.
So
I was in 2 of them at Cleveland.
Oh my gosh! Were you really, Coach?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So, actually, one of those fumbles was caused by Jeremiah Castile.
I told Jeremiah Castile when I went to Alabama and saw him. I said, "You cost me $50,000."
It was a hell of a play too. It was going to be a touchdown if he had a.
Yeah, this goes back, and I know I'm over talking these things, but our wide receiver on that side, we ran an inside trap, and it bounced out to the left because the end pinched down when we set a trap and we had to log it. And the wide receiver did an outside release against Jeremiah to take him out. And Jeremiah, when it bounced outside, Jeremiah comes in there and Ernest Biner he didn't fumble off. Jeremiah hits him right on the funny bone, and it goes dead, and the ball falls out, and we lose the game.
Man.
I remember mine yesterday.
It was a hell of a play. He made a lot of hell of a plays, though, especially when he was at Alabama. He was unbelievable.
Was Marty Schottenheimer a pretty demanding coach to be a coach for?
Oh, yeah, he was. Those are the best ones I've been around are like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
they win, too.
Yeah. Tough, demanding. And one thing about him is you were going to run the ball first and be tough. You know, and that's because that's the way. And he was a defensive coach. All the coaches, except for Bobby Bowden, when I first started coaching at West Virginia, Bobby was an offensive coach. Every coach I worked for after that was a defensive coach.
Wow. Did Coach Bowden know your name, or did he just call you Buddy?
He knew it because I played for him. He was the offensive coordinator when I played. I think that was the only reason.
So, Coach, I asked this of Wesley, and I'm going to start asking it for, there were so many great players that came through the last 17 years. If you could draft one, you're a GM, you could draft one from any team, which one would you draft, number one?
Oh, man. You mean through Alabama?
Oh, yeah, through the time you were there, through Coach Saban was there.
Oh, geez, that's a hard question now. Geez. Whew.
I know.
I'm not sure whether I would draft a corner or an offensive tackle or a quarterback. But I would take one of those three positions.
There you go. That tells you how they think.
You know, there have been a bunch of them. I mean, Derrick Henry comes to mind.
That's who Wesley picked.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's neither of the three. What you said. Yeah. That's who Wesley picked.
Yeah, but he comes to mind, but just because of everything he did and what he's done since then.
Yeah. I watched tape of him, and I'm in awe of somebody that big moving like that with great vision. I mean, that's the thing. He has great vision.
Oh, there's no doubt. He does. And then what's a corner? I forget the name. The guy came out 2 years ago that's playing at Denver.
You're talking about, his dad played. God, no.
Yeah, his dad played.
His dad played.
Goodness gracious.
He's a hell of a corner.
Yeah, he's long, lean, yeah.
Surtain?
Yeah, Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, Pat Surtain was his dad. And I coached against his dad in the NFL. But that kid was he probably, I mean, we've had some good corners come through there, but I thought he was just an exceptional one. And we've had some good tackles come through there too, and quarterbacks. But it might be Derrick Henry.
That's who Wesley picked. He said Derrick Henry. He didn't quite take quite as long as you did.
Yeah.
But so who would the quarterback? I'm interested in this. Which quarterback would you take?
Oh, man. Well, I'm not sure I wouldn't take Tua.
If he hadn't got hurt, he probably would have been my opinion, one of the greatest college quarterbacks, if not the greatest of all time. The guy was unbelievable accurate.
Yeah, he's got great accuracy, anticipation, just a feel, a sense for the game. You know, he and a great young man. You know, he's got. When I was coaching at Pitt, we had an average quarterback, Danny Marino.
Just average, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. I showed him how to throw the ball, or he would never.
Oh, did you? Did you really?
But hell no! I saw him at sophomore in high school. He could do it. I had him in the camp. when he was a sophomore. But he had the quickest release, get the ball out faster and with accuracy and pace, whatever pace he needs. Drop it over a linebacker, drill it on the out route, whatever. But and Tua is the closest guy I've been around that had that, but he just didn't have Danny's 6'4", 6'5" size. But with all those other things, Tua had it.
I've never, some of the plays he made in practice, I would be just totally just sitting there with my mouth wide open.
Coach, my last question for you is, you talked a lot about feet for an offensive lineman. Which offensive lineman had the best feet when you were in Tuscaloosa?
The whole time I was through there, it would probably be Ryan Kelly.
Boy, he's a good player.
I will tell you, he could have played any of the 5 positions, Steve, West. He could have played.
No question.
He could play tackle, guard, or center. He just had really good feet, quick feet.
Good dude, too. Really good.
Oh, yeah. Smart, tough, and really a good guy. But he comes to mind just right off the bat. And some of the guys who didn't go on to be all pro type guys and didn't last, but a kid who was a good player at Alabama, a kid named Steen. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, yeah.
And he played because he had good feet. You know, he's kind of a powerful guy, but he had good feet. And he ended up being a good player. And matter of fact, I got him, Bruce signed him as a free agent out of Arizona, and he bounced around the league about 5 years.
Good for him.
Just because of his feet. Played some center and some guard.
So now that Coach Saban is retired, do you talk to him more or less now, Coach?
Oh, well, probably a little bit less, but still we communicate.
So
He's
Coach,
retired now. I'm retired now.
Y'all talk about what golf course you're going to go play next.
That's exactly right. Matter of fact, I'm in. I got a place in West Virginia. I've had up there for years, but we've got a little place down there, a place called Edisto Beach, South Carolina, a little bit south of Charleston. That's where I am right now.
So, Coach, who was the head coach at Pittsburgh when you were there? Was
Jackie Sherrill.
Jackie Sherrill. That's what I was thinking.
I worked with Jackie. There's another defensive coach.
One of Coach Bryant's boys, yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. And I went there to coach quarterbacks and run the offense. Well, the first year, that's what I did. The next year, we had hired Jimmy Johnson. Some guys left, and we had hired Jimmy Johnson. Took the Oklahoma State job. He'd been on our staff. He and Dave Wanstead and those guys went to Oklahoma State, and so we hired Jimmy Sharp as our offensive line coach.
Wow! Wow!
Well, Jimmy comes in, and then he had some type of a problem over the summer and illness, and he wasn't coming back. So Jackie calls me, and this 3 days before we go to training camp, guys. He called me and said, Joe, we don't have an offensive line coach. He said, and you're the only guy that knows anything about to do it. I said, Jackie, I said, I'm coaching Danny Marino. Now, why would I want to go coach the offensive line? He said, well, I'm going to make it worth your while. And he did. So I moved up 3 days before we go training camp. Raleigh Dodge was the offensive line coach at the Steelers at the time.
Yeah.
So I went over to the Steelers camp, spent a day and a half, 2 days with Raleigh Dodge to get back caught up. When I was coaching for Bobby Bowden at West Virginia, I coached receivers, then I coached tackles, then I coached tight ends. He moved me all over the place. Had the whole offensive line, which was great for me. And then So I had a little background in it. Then I had some pretty good players. You remember a guy named
Yes, you did. Jimbo Elliott. Yeah.
You did all right.
Yeah.
You did all right.
Tell me your offensive line, because it's probably one of the best groups ever.
Well, our backups were Jimbo Covert, Bill Fraley. These guys we recruited them. Mark May was right tackle. Russ Graham, Emil Boers, who played in the league for a long time, was a right guard. Russ Graham was the center.
Yeah.
Left tackle. I can't remember the left guard and left tackle, but they were names. They weren't pro players, but they were experienced for us. And then the next year, Jim Sweeney, Fraley, all those guys come in. They take over.
Yeah, I remember Fralick with the Falcons, coach.
No, I mean, those guys, they were unbelievable. I remember watching them play back in the day. I did not know you were there. Wow. That's crazy. I knew Jimmy was there.
Wow.
Because Jimmy was there for one spring practice. That was it.
That was it.
That was enough.
Yeah. He was good, too. I enjoyed him, man.
He coached us in the Japan Bowl back in the day.
I remember that.
Yeah, and we were there for 10 days. We had 2 practices per hour.
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
Oh, Coach, I can't tell you how much we've appreciated your time here. You've been very generous with it, and we can't thank you enough for hopping on with us, sir.
Well, I enjoy you guys. You do a good job, and I appreciate what you do for college football.
Would love to have you back and talk some more, Coach.
We'll do it. Just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Absolutely.
You,
man, that is Coach Joe Pendry.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And we're obviously way late for our first break here of hour number 2.
I guess I can go on home now.
Yeah, just go on home. Yeah, we may get another update from Captain Cool. I don't know. We may do that.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Tellurides, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
A very, very quick segment here. That's all right. You don't even need to put on your headset. You two can still keep talking. Auburn leads it over Troy. In fact, they are headed to the bottom of the third. It's over at Toyota Field. 2-1 is the score there. That's your segment. We're going to go ahead and take our final timeout. We'll wrap things up on the other side. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey there, UAH fans. I'm Morris Lilienthal. If you've been injured in an accident, visit morristheattorney.com right now to get the help you need. Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you. I have personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims, and I'm ready to help you too. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 5-star Google reviews. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. Look forward to helping you. Go Chargers.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm here today with Dr. Tracy Lowry of Varicosity Vein Center. Now, how does someone suspect they have vein issues?
The most common symptoms associated with vein issues include leg heaviness, aching, and swelling, with some patients having visible veins as well. Vein issues can be easily diagnosed using ultrasound, with treatments performed as an outpatient using the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Both men and women have vein issues, though men may be more likely to ignore their symptoms when they're playing golf or walking the stadium steps. They too will benefit from correction of their vein problem. Patients can contact our clinics in Huntsville and new clinics in Madison and Coleman at 256-715-7151 or visit us at veracosityveincenter.com.
Veracity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, making a solid run at 70 degrees, but it appears we're going to fall just shy. We drop into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures are going to consistently climb into the lower 70s. Really going to be a fantastic day. We're only going to drop into the low 50s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Maybe an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, winding down a Tuesday edition of The Drive. This time tomorrow, you will hear SEC basketball. That'll be over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For those of you that are in town for the Conference USA basketball tournament, you know what? I'm going to do this and see whether or not he picks up over the air right now. Captain Cool is supposedly inside the VBC as we speak. Captain Cool.
Hey.
Are you? Yes, you are inside the VBC. Give us a report there from inside the VBC. Oh no. We had a long interview.
No, but it's totally fine. We're having a great game down here. Houston, of course, against UTEP. 58-41, UTEP leads this one, but it's not over just yet. Going into the end of the third quarter, and got to admit, Sam Houston a little spunky, ready to get back in this game.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Getting the score there too.
And I fully appreciate that. You taking notes on that last phone call, Captain Cool.
Yes,
and then
sir.
later on tonight, it'll be Jacksonville State. Has any Jack State fans entered?
Oh, you know it. Yeah, I know. There's a whole section right now that's filled with red. They're definitely looking forward to it. And also just a scattered group of Conference USA fans all together in celebration of this event.
Outstanding. Well, good job, and I appreciate the info. Enjoy your time over there. I may sneak over and watch a little Gamecock basketball myself.
No, that'd be a great idea. Appreciate you guys.
That is Captain Cool. They're live from inside the VBC, giving us a report. And again, this time tomorrow night, we are going to be airing Vanderbilt and Arkansas squaring off, and that'll tip at 6 o'clock tomorrow. That'll be followed by Missouri and Georgia. That is day one, and then the full first day action begins with Mississippi State and LSU on Thursday. Then the Vanderbilt-Arkansas winner will take on South Carolina. Remember, that feeds into the Auburn side of the bracket. So, Auburn fans, you're going to want to pay attention tomorrow. This will be Thursday afternoon, 2:30-ish, around about that time, to pay attention to whoever South Carolina is playing, be it Vanderbilt or Arkansas, as to find out who the Auburn Tigers will be playing on Friday. And then we've got everything covered for you because we're obviously a part of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Now, Bama plays the late game on Friday night, so we'll have pregame coverage for that as well on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So we have had a rather full program here live from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Certainly want to thank Dan Murphy for hopping on with us as we explored a little bit of the conversation that took place up in D.C. Senator Ted Cruz kind of anchored that hour and 40-minute marathon of just hashing out issues with collegiate athletics as well as NIL. Also spoke a little bit of everywhere there with Joe Pendry just now, as Coach Pendry enjoying the retirement life, but also all that. I mean, we had a conversation with Joe Pendry, and we were just scratching the surface with Coach, considering his tie to Bobby Bowden, to Nick Saban, to Dan Marino, Tua. It went all across the board, but that was a fun conversation there with Joe Pendry. And just, again, we just scratched the surface of the types of people that he interacted with and very memorable moments. We talked a little bit about the Music City Miracle as well, and I will never forget that run there for the Titans and Steve Air McNair and Eddie George all the way to Atlanta that year. That was the last event I covered in Atlanta before moving up here, was that Super Bowl between the Rams and the Titans. And a little bit of a tie-in there with Coach Pendry with the Music City Miracle. It just...
he was on the wrong end of that deal.
Yes, he was.
I was shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Flutie?
They made him start a different quarterback. The owner did.
Might be an issue or two like that in Dallas currently.
Yeah, well, they're looking for a running back. Sounds like to me.
They're looking for January wins.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Put the anchor down, hotty toddy, who's it gonna be? Cowbells and swamp, the Aggies romp. There's nothing like the SEC.